Telling ourselves that no one is perfect or that we must live realistically is no excuse for not making an honest and focused effort to live by the ideals that we profess. Practicing what we preach only when it suits us or is convenient may sometimes be in our short-term best interest, but it is not a way to long-term validation. Professing something then practicing the opposite, even in private, just because that is how it is done, because it is what everyone else does, or because it is easier, will ultimately hurt the validity of our own beliefs, values, and ideals. Forgoing our values for expediency or associating ourselves with those who can cast a negative reflection on them will hurt us not only in the eyes of others, but also subconsciously in how we view ourselves as well. It may even in the long term threaten that which we claim to live by, and leave us weaker in the long run. We must not mock our values by following them only when they are convenient or in our personal best interest. Living by them resiliently and not selling out, yielding, or compromising to how life is, the daily pressures, personal benefits, or standards of the status quo can be far more powerful. Yes, there is the time and place for powerful or overt action. However, the day-to-day living them out is the most important validation we can give. The powerful, overt action is like a sudden rush of water, while the constant refusal to compromise is like an unwavering and constant flow. Do not preach your values, but live by them. Living, even in private, by the steady, constant, firm refusal to give in, yield, or compromise says the most. It is impossible for someone to take our beliefs seriously if we ourselves do not live by them. We must live by them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for them to be taken seriously. The old adages, lead by example and practice what you preach, are very true and must be followed not only in public, but most especially in private. Hypocrisy on any level only devalues our ideals, not only to others but to us as well. Hypocrisy is weakness, and not seriously living by our beliefs can only devalue them. We cannot temporarily sacrifice our morals or methods of conduct to promote our ideologies. If we do, we stand for nothing. What can we teach our children that we do not practice ourselves? We can only expect others to act in a way that we ourselves are committed to acting. One of my favorite sayings is, "I'm sorry, but I think you mistake my generosity and kindness for weakness." Too often, to my disappointment, people do mistake my generosity and kindness for weakness, when it is merely acting upon my philosophy. Sometimes we must follow our philosophies even when doing so is detrimental to our own well-being. The true test in the eyes of others of the seriousness, possible practicality, or especially value of our beliefs is when we follow them even when they can become detrimental to ourselves personally. We must be true to our word if we can ever hope or expect others to be true to theirs. Compromising our views for personal gain, to increase our number of ideological followers, or to achieve gain for our movement will only leave those same views weaker in the long term to others. Hypocrisy will only leave our message diluted and weak. The more we live by our beliefs, the more we will be able to lead by example. When you lead by example, those who truly believe will follow even when it is not in their own personal best interest. Liabilities, by their very nature, expose us to weaknesses. Having overconfidence in our beliefs, values, and ideals can be just as dangerous, or more so than anything else. We must be confident in them, but not to the point of creating a liability. An example of overconfidence becoming a liability is when one develops assumptions of infallibility. Another is when overconfidence can be used against us. Overconfidence can give a myopic view, and then the dangers may not be seen in the periphery. Overconfidence can also develop a sense of self-superiority or the belief for the need of blind obedience from others. And blind obedience can eventually lead to questions that cannot be answered. For others to respect and admire our values, it is important that we do not become overconfident in them. Sometimes knowing and being able to explain why we believe can be more important to others than the belief, value, or ideal itself. Even an absolute nihilist believes in something, even if that something is nothing. We must remember why we follow them. To help me continue, please consider a like, subscription to this channel, download of my free ebook or articles, or visit my website or social media channels. Thank you.